You are now checking out
the Win Podcast,
where the everyday people
are the celebrities.
So let's get to know them.
Like you said, there's so many hats. I mean, at the end of the day, my most prized possession, and we sit here all day, is, being a dad. Like, that changes everything and puts everything into perspective and kind of like makes the comedy stuff and all the acting stuff a whole lot easier, because being a dad is like that's a whole thing within itself. Man, what can I say, man? I've dabbled a little bit in everything, like music, but I'm pretty much concentrated in comedy now. I've been doing it for over 10 years, and just kind of like it developed into this persona known as El Modifoca, and it has a life of its own. I mean, what else can I tell you?
What hat came first? Because I want to go to each journey, right? So what hat came first? Was it the comedian? Was it the director? Was it like, take us down that journey? What those gifts started coming out?
That's funny. Whenever I get together with my cousins, they like to tell me that I used to tell everybody what to do when we would be hanging out. Like, you do, like I was directing for a long time, but for me it was making my family laugh. That has to be like probably entertainer. I would do whatever I had to do. I danced like Michael Jackson. I'd tell jokes like Eddie Murphy. Whatever I had to do to make my grandmother laugh. If I can make my grandmother laugh, I can make my mother laugh. Because I thought, like, to me, my mother's the funniest. Yeah. And people wouldn't see that. They see this little Blanquita lady, and she's like, oh, hi, the sweetest thing in the world. But she's where I get my comedy gene. My father will disagree and say that it's from him, but no. Yeah.
So So I would assume that what you just said then, comedy was this thing that kind of like wasn't in the family naturally, and like you guys love to laugh, and was like, of course, with any family, get your ups and downs, but at the end of the day, it was a happy family, a sense about joking around and having a good time.
Listen, it's like we came from a house like we had to make fun of each other. Like, that's how you knew that we kind of the checks and balances of life. I guess you would call that a little bit of bullying now these days, but that's how
Pussies.
we. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it was tough love. It was like, I remember we were so tough on each other. We were so like, if you did a mistake, you were gonna hear about it for at least 6 months, and it came with a name, probably a song.
I hated that
whole thing. I remember hearing stories of like things happening, and my mom like trying to fix them before I got there, because if I got there, she knew I would be ragging on her for like 6 months. So again, it comes from the sense of my family really gave me that sense. Like, if I made them laugh. And they're tough. Like, my sister's a tough crowd. Yeah. My mom's a tough crowd. They don't laugh at everything like hard. So if I could get them, I was like, man, okay, maybe I got something. Like everybody else got easier for me.
Wow, that's dope. Yeah. So how did it feel when you now took it from the house to like something live? Because of course you probably had the nerves, which is normal, but. Right. Or maybe you didn't, because maybe he was like, I made my grandmother, my mother laugh. Yeah. So like, whether I make you guys laugh or not, I don't care. Right. Like, I know I have it in me already.
Right. I was a sinvergüenza. I was. I didn't. I really didn't have a shame of like talking in front of people. Like, I liked the attention. I was an attention kid. But I mean, aren't we all? Yeah. That's why we're in this profession. We need approval. But no, yeah. I the first thing that I did was be in an 8th grade play, and I was playing Joseph, but we had one microphone and we were passing it around to say lines, So at one point through all the passing, the cord of the microphone got stuck around the baby Jesus' neck. So when they passed it to me, like, the baby Jesus was like hanging from his neck at one point. Yeah. And I just improvised something like, I said something like, oh, the sacrifice is not this early. Something, you know what I mean? Something that, not yet. And I just, right. So
that is fucking on your feet. That's great.
Parents, nuns, everybody laughed. And I was like, oh, okay. And then we had an audition for Julius Caesar, and I did the death scene. But I didn't think I would just, and everybody like cracked up, and I won the audition. But I never got to do the play. And that was the other thing too. Then I memorized the lines to the play, and I spent like 3 months memorizing them. And I found like it was so easy to me for me to memorize things to this day, So then I was like, oh, this is maybe something that I can. And it was, and it really helped me to this day as far as acting wise. So yeah.
So what did you learn about yourself now, like doing comedy? Was it always I would say like making fun of things that you saw, or was it even about yourself? Like when you start noticing these gifts, what did it bring to you in your life and the value?
The joy to know, like that's free. The joy that I could bring my family, the laughter, like doing impressions of other relatives, making stories or telling the story of something that happened to a relative, and adding and putting in jokes, and sometimes you tell the same story for 10 years straight, but you keep adding things and changing it. I have an uncle that did that. Like, he's been telling the same story for 20 years. And we're like, Freddy, like, you said that story like the last time you were here 6 months ago. He's like, oh man, they're getting shorter. It's supposed to be a year ago. But yeah, so the joy that when you see that at the beginning, you don't see the gift that you really have. And then it wasn't until times where I thought about quitting this profession, because again, like we talked before, I don't like the networking side of the whole thing. And I know it's something that's necessary in the business. You have to make connections, you have to talk, you have to put yourself out there. But it's to me, I don't like the bull and
we talk about the sucking dick of it and the
just
fakeness,
the bullshit of it. Like, just like, again, I tried networking for like 3 years, and I saw the same people network, promoting the same exact fucking shit, and it's like, there was nothing new from what they were telling me from when I saw them from the last party, but they're so busy networking that they're not taking care of the art, and I was always been about the art, and I've always been, because to me, like I said, I being a dark-skinned Latino, now it's a thing, but back then, it's easy for me to exclude myself real fast, because like I told you, they're not looking for me, they're not looking for us, so it wasn't a thing where I had to go to those networking, but when you have to go and you have to do it, you have to. Yeah. It's a pain in the ass. I really hate it, but I don't mean to go off track here. No. But what I mean is like because of that, that's where my genuineness comes from, because there's been people that have come up to me in moments where I felt like, this business is too much. It's not fair. It's not. And they'll send me like, and she's a friend to this day. My friend Evelyn. She said she had lost her son 6 months prior to coming to one of our shows. And she came to a show, and she sat in the front, and I made her laugh. And she said, I hadn't laughed like that since my son died. And I read that, and then I was like, man, nah, this is good. This is whatever higher power, God, whatever this is the universe telling me you should be doing this. This is what you need to do. Because that's a gift that I felt so like I'm like, yo, I changed somebody's life. Like, this person was feeling bad, and all I did was make them laugh, and that cost me nothing. It's a gift that, I don't feel I'm always funny, because sometimes I'm speaking seriously, and people are just like, having me. I'm like, but I'm being serious. But I guess it's the way that. So I tell people, like, people find me funny. I don't find myself like funny like that, tampoco, but people find me funny, and it's cool. And I use that to my advantage when I can, and I've learned to hone that a little bit. But yeah, I also feel like with the moment you're like, yo, I'm funny, man. Yeah. I think you kind of lose. Yeah. Because you're kind of too self-conscious about it.
Well, the gift that I remember always hearing too, like, is when I used to hear doing comedy, it was like, man, you're naturally funny. Right. And like, you're naturally funny. Right. And right. I think you start realizing that later on, where even like I remember Guru told me, my spiritual teacher, and she was like,
shout out to Guru.
Yo, so she was like,
I've known her for a long time.
She was like, Rick, I want you to understand is not what you're saying is funny. It's how you're saying it. Yeah. And and I was just saying it, right? But she wanted me to embrace that and acknowledge that. Sure. Like, because that just the same note that I would get, like, you're naturally funny. Yeah. And like, and that's a gift. And for you when I'm laughing at you, it's like I'm not being forced to laugh, or it's the line that's like, oh, that was funny.
I'm expecting it, right?
Right, I'm expecting it. Right. It's like what he brought to it naturally. That's awesome. Funny. No, I was like, I could watch him all the time doing that. You know what I'm saying? That is a gift, and that is great, like how you said.
I appreciate that, man. I do too.
So I want to know those moments that you thought about giving up, leaving it. Yeah. What did you think about? What did you do? What pulled you out of that? And I know you mentioned one example of that lady, right? saying that, you made me laugh. I haven't laughed like this in a long time,
Yeah.
But before that happened, I would imagine there's maybe some self-revelation of like, you thinking something within, like, yo, Jerry, like, come on, think about this, think about that. Like, what's going on in those moments in your head that, like, you're like your own Rocky right now. Like, yo, I understand what you're feeling, but we got to go back to the gym.
Fight.
We got to fight.
Well, you listen, I'm a little bit older, so, I'm 40. I'm going to be 42 this year.
Yo, you look like 20.
Thank you,
20.
That's check is in the mail. So I come from a time where, like, you didn't do this. Like, I'm first generation Dominican here in Dominican America. So my father came here, busted his ass. So for me to, like, what do you mean you're telling jokes? What is that? What do you mean you're gonna be an actor? What is that? You're telling, you think you're funny.
Yep.
You think you're funny. And stuff like that stuff that kills your self-esteem, that stuff that messes with, because then you're just like, damn, I'm not successful unless I make it to this mark, and my father then could be, like, you're setting a wrong goal, I believe also, like, you're putting it on somebody else. You should do things to make yourself happy, and then there are times where, when I'm like, yo, what, but then I also remember that I've done some really, really cool things because of the life that I've decided to lead. People have paid for trips for me to go somewhere to make them laugh. Like, people have paid money, like, cool stuff. Like, and not even like anything and that's the thing. Like, I don't tell people that kind of stuff, or to just get paid to write jokes for somebody else. Like, that's crazy. Like,
it's true.
And so,
and it's not even bragging. It comes from a humble place of like, no, when facts hits the facts. When you're looking back at everything, it's like, this is what happened.
Right.
Like, I didn't think this was possible. And if you just look at it on paper, someone paid me X amount to write this. Someone just paid me right now to go out there and do this.
Absolutely.
And it's at the end of the day, it's me on stage bringing joy to me and everybody else. That's fucking crazy.
That's
this is not on Craigslist.
Right.
I can apply for this as a job. I'm like, well, come in at 9 in the morning tomorrow. We're going to give you
and if you're not a part of this, they don't understand. So my pops didn't understand, you know. And that's fine. I get it. It's a different time. It's a different. It's a whole generational thing. It's a cultural thing. They come from, like, Dominican culture is a whole different thing. And I'm in between, because it's like Dominican culture, American culture, and Black culture, because I'm Black here. I'm not other things, but certain people look at me that way. So it is what it is. It's not like, oh, I can't accept. It's not about accepting. It's about, like, dealing with it. You got to deal with it.
It's so funny because when I have the same thing with my family, but what is hard for them to realize, the same courage, the same strength, the same fears and insecurities and doubt that you had to use and felt for your journey to make something happen here in America, it's the same shit that I'm using to make something happen for myself and my dream.
Right.
So if your dream, which I understand, is coming here, getting a job, benefits, blah, 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 I still had to struggle to get that one here. I accomplished it. It may be a little easier because, things are different. But now I'm going after something that is still the American dream to you, that I still have to use these tools. Right. So, but they don't understand that. No. They don't see the struggle.
But it's funny because I say, when as a parent, you work and they worked to make our life easier, so we didn't have to do the kind of stuff that they did. And guess what? I'm not, okay, I'm not a doctor. I'm not but I'm like, yo, you left me with tools. Like, I'm working hard. Like, I don't have to use my hands. I don't have to use I use my hands because when I need them to do things that my brain is a creative, right? Fun things. And myself. But no, the things that I'm creating in my head, and that they're going up on stage, they're being filmed, they're being recorded. Like, that's enough feat in itself. So it's it depends on what your sense of accomplishment is. And to me, the reason, like, I may never be successful as far as what people in the terms of success mean, like, the money, the mansions, the fame, all that other stuff. Fine, that's great. But I feel that I have accomplished so many things in this field that I can talk to my that I can instill to my kids, like, let them take it to the next level if I can't. So the fact that, we were just on NBC doing the Bring the Funny thing, and we got eliminated right away, whatever. The fact that
honestly, by that, not even to like network and suck your dick right now. I was like, why didn't they move on? Because I was like, that was funny. Again, and I wasn't hating. I'm like, why am I on NBC? It was nothing. Because actually, we got fucking Hulu. Yeah. We got Hulu. I was like, yo, we got Hulu. Oh shit, that shit's on Hulu. We can watch it. Yeah. And we watched it. I'm like, that's funny. And you guys didn't move on. And I'm like, this is weird. They should have been to the next round.
Of course. It's again, but. Knowing it took 10 years, like it's been it's taken a long time for even but the fact that we did that without going through the natural channels that other people went, like everybody there was UCB, Upright Citizens Brigade, Improv, everybody there was UCB. The music act, and if they weren't, it's because they were foreigners, like Australian or whatever. And then there was us. There was us and me, because there's some in our group that have gone to UCB, so I'm not shitting on UCB. Right. But I have a problem with people thinking like that's the only funnel that can produce comedy, and it isn't. So me being on that stage, and first of all being in LA, doing all of that, they didn't know what to do with. They look at it, they don't know what to do with us out there, bro. Like they're just like, este moreno habla español. Like, what's going on? Like, they really didn't know. Oh, you're exotic. You could be Arab. You could be Indian. You could be, like, they didn't know what to do, and which is cool. It's dope. But at the end of the day, that's the game. It's a corporate thing. And I was over there like, yo, we already won. Yep. We're on TV. Like, this is a dream. That in itself is an accomplishment for me. I got to be on TV, and I didn't have to play, like, a drug dealer on Law and Order. I didn't have to play a snitch. I was on NBC as Room 28, as Jerry Diaz, performing sketches, and my daughter sees that, and she's like, "Look, he made a dream come true. What's stopped me from doing mine?" And that, more than anything in the world, means more to me. That like my nephews and my niece, they see that, and they're like, "Yo, I could do it." And there are times where we go to these corporate events or school events where we like do these sketches for like college kids or whatever, and we get these dark skinned Salvadorian kids, Ecuadorian kids. They come up to me and they're like, "Yo, how'd you start?" Because you don't see us doing that. And I was like, "Yo, it's hard for me because there's really no explanation." I'm like, that's how I started. That's why I started Room 28. Like, I didn't want to go to UCB. I went to UCB. I tried it. I'm not shitting on it, but it wasn't for me. So people can't get mad at me if that wasn't for me. Like, that wasn't the avenue that I'm going to take. And it's fine that everybody else could do with it, but I know that wasn't for me. And look, I still accomplished, and I'm still doing what I had to do. You can't, to me also, like, you can't create funny. You can't go to a school and come out and think you're funny. That you got to be born with it a little bit. You have to... and it's a business, so, you should be having auditions. Like, you can't just go to Yale School of Drama. You have to audition, you have to do a whole bunch of stuff, and then you're like, okay, this person's an actor, they can take it to the next level. And I think it should be the same when you're talking about sketch comedy and stuff like that. Like,
and I think a big piece of that ingredient and that what you had, and it's so beautiful to see and hear, is that you remain true to yourself. Like,
oh, thank you, man.
That you were part of that bullshit at times where it's coming your way. You could be this, you could be that. But it seemed like to me, maybe you did a couple of those roles or whatever, or maybe you haven't. But at the end of the day, you made a point that I'm not going to do that anymore. Right. I'm going to stay true to myself.
Yeah.
I want to create my own platform.
Absolutely.
I want to create my own way.
Yeah.
I went to UCB. It's cool. Not shitting on it. Just not for me. Right. I want to keep on honing my voice in a different way.
That's it.
And just like UCB created, I can create my own version of UCB because UCB was created on the same foundation as there's no improv. There's no improv school.
Right. It shouldn't be a monopoly.
So let's do it.
Right.
And just exactly what you did in your life. You remain true to yourself and to what you want to create and what you want to put out there. And you spoke on it a little bit, and I want to know how did you co-create Room 28? What was the motivation behind that? What was the frustration you had? Like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to do this. I don't know where it's going to go, but I'm going to do it.
I mean, well, and at the time when we started back then, it was like, there wasn't a lot of like content creators that were Latinos. I mean, if they were, they had a Latino, like, it was like they had the wordplay that had Latinos in it. And I from the jump, I didn't want. That's why Room 28 is Room 28. I'd rather have people say, "What is Room 28?" instead of like Cuarto 28, and then they look at it and they're like, "Oh, that's not for me. It's a Latin group. It's not for me. I want you to at least see it." And then it's like, "Oh, it's a Latin group." Because once you see us, we cannot hide what we are. So we don't need to. It doesn't need to be the focal point of what we are for us. And that's why I think what we've accomplished is because for us, at the end of the day, yes, we're about pushing forward the Latino, agenda and what do you call that? For them to see us. Yeah. But we also we're comedy fans first, so that's it has for us. It has to be funny before it's political or shocking or any of that. And like you said, not everything is for everybody. Right. And for me, honestly, as an entertainer, as a creator of that kind of stuff, like I enjoy the sketches that nobody else probably. You understand? Because sometimes it's because they're so bad, and I'm like, I don't care. We're gonna. Oh, sorry, man.
No problem.
We got to do that sketch, and they're like, "What, dude? It's not gonna." And sometimes they work because of the genuineness of like, "Yo, we're just having fun doing this sketch." It's not necessarily a great sketch, but it's fun. There's some physical comedy in it, and as a performer, you can cheat. There's things you can do to enhance any performance, but we try to keep it like genuine, and that's again. That wasn't for me. I tried the UCB stiff. I met Jamie, and I told you my cousin Mike. He's related, so we've been creating since we were like little kids together because we're the same age. So, and then we met Jamie, and Jamie is like one of the most underrated comedy writers in New York because the guy is like a joke machine. He's really good at what he does.
I agree.
And I've been with him for a long time, and I can tell you that. So
it's another dude I want to get to know too as well.
Dude,
on the show.
You should really have.
If you put in a good word for me, I don't want to send something to him. He leaves me a scene.
No, I got
he reads it. And he's like,
no, I got you. I got you. He's part of that, but I got you.
Thanks.
No, he's like, but that's. I couldn't just work with anybody in this industry. I met him, and it was an instant connection. Like a comedy team that didn't know that we were like genetically. At times we don't need to talk, and he throws me an idea and I mix it in. So that's why we've been able to grow and been able to, because we trust each other.
And that's a gift when you find that too.
It's so dope, So we were in this other group. Primarily, there was a lot of which was cool because it was a lot of gay roles and stuff like that. So it just opened us up a little bit, and then we were like, all right, you know what?
Open.
Yeah. No non-pause. No pause on that at all. No. So again, so we were like, yo, we started writing, and then we saw like we were kind of handcuffed when we were writing. So it's like, yo, let's just start. Why can't we start our own thing? And I kind of saw the ins and outs of how shows were being put together, and I saw that in sketch shows, people were getting bored in between sketches because they would play music or whatever. So I decided, I'm like, let's film stuff, put it on a projector. So while we're getting dressed between sketches, we put up stuff that we filmed, and that format kind of came from there.
As a viewer, I enjoyed that because when I first saw the Room 28, first of all, I was talking to my friend about this probably like weeks ago. I was like, yo, comedy is hard. I was like, sketch comedy is fucking hard, bro. Because, it's a blessing when you get people to laugh because a lot of sketches sometimes won't get laughs or whatever. But I used maybe Dave Chappelle's show for example, where not everything was funny on those episodes of the show. But let's say it was 3 seasons, right? Let's say it was 3 seasons. I could probably name 6 sketches that I love, and I'm like, that is a hit. That's a blessing,
right?
Because out of 3 seasons, you still can come and say this sketch, that sketch, this sketch, right? And 6 out of I don't know. 30, 25 sketch, I don't know. Right. I was like, that's a good hit ratio because SNL's going all the time. And sometimes people don't even get a laugh. Yeah. Sometimes they do get a laugh. Yeah. But I was like, but writing it and performing it is hard. It's hit or miss a lot of the times.
It is.
But if you, for me, I saw your show and I can only say that I enjoyed it. And I can say I could walk away with 2-3 sketches yo, I like this one thing, this other thing. It was but, as a creator, I was like, That's good.
Right.
Because you got to be realistic.
You got 3, but then the person next to you had another 3.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Someone made like the whole thing. Oh, as an overall, I loved it.
Yeah,
Thought it was good. Not lying, right? Thought it was good.
Thank you.
But am I gonna say that I loved everything? No. But if I'm gonna, as a creator, I'm like, when I step back, I'm like, yo, damn, that's a good hit ratio right there. Right. You know what I'm saying? That's how I'm looking at it as a creator. That's a good hit ratio. That's actually pretty dope.
And the more we've been doing it, like the more. So we have like 200 sketches that we've done. We never repeated like shows and stuff like that.
Unless it's this machine that keeps on creating and producing
more and more content, right? So out of those 200, we have like a solid, like I'm talking about like banging 20, like 20 out of like 6 years of performing, and then a 10 that'll knock you. Every sketch is gonna hit because we've done it in front of every audience. We've tried them here. We've done them this version. We've done it with this actor. We've done it, and they hit no matter what. So we're like, all right, these are. We know, like, oh, we have to do something here. So like the sketch that we did with the Pitbull stuff.
Yeah.
It's not our number one, but certain people like it because of the act. But we were able to represent the Latino aspect, which was very important.
I love that choice of that sketch that you guys went out with. I was like, Pitbull is this universal person that everyone knows.
Right.
Easy to make fun of. I thought it was a solid sketch to start with to show.
Thank you.
I don't know who decision as a group to do. I was like, that was dope because there was some other stuff that I saw. I'm like, I wouldn't start there with that sketch.
Right.
But yours is like, I felt like it was gonna get. It's like a boxer. How am I gonna win the first couple rounds?
You gotta hit the
job, stay on your toes, move around, keep your distance. That's how I felt like with the sketch. I was like, yo, you're gonna jab around.
We got more, right?
Yes.
We got more.
They're not gonna just blow their whole load on one. Then if they make it to the next level, they come with some whack shit.
We came like full tilt Latino. Like the next sketch was gonna be like about a novela. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like and again, it wasn't our decision to pick the sketches. That's why it's like,
Gotcha.
There's only so much I could say because of things I've time, but reality TV isn't always reality. So they were pretty much, but we were a little bit relieved when they did pick these certain sketches that we had because again, they may not have been the A1 sketches that we think are gonna knock it out the park, but at least it represented a big part of what we are, what we had, and how we and we don't even have sketches where we do impressions. Like that's probably the only sketch that we do impressions.
That's true.
But that's the way the world works, So like I said, that was a win. Going there was a win. And Negrito was on TV. I was in LA. They paid for that shit. I was out there for free to make people laugh, bro. Come on, man. It's a blessing. It's a blessing. And at the end of it, like, if nothing else happens in the world, like my career would end tomorrow.
Yep.
I'm good. It's great. It's fine. I'm not looking like. That's why I'm not doing those parts where I told you where I may have to what do you call that? Compromise my integrity.
Yeah.
But I know that also means I'm not gonna get I'm gonna have to be, But I still get people still call me for parts to do things.
But what that means is that when things actually fall on your lap, it's for a reason.
Right.
It was meant.
Absolutely.
And it's gonna be much more special and powerful.
Yeah.
Because you're selective. But there's a reason.
Right.
You're just not gonna. And also, like you said,
I have no business being selective, though.
Right. But you know what? It's not even coming from like paying bills. Paying bills or like
I got a job.
All this ego
I'm
stuff.
A doorman,
right.
You know what I'm saying? I gotta have a 9-to-5 job.
Right.
Because I got kids, so I gotta be like a responsible. So I gotta make that work around this acting stuff, and it's only because the acting stuff and the comedy stuff is inconsistent. If it's a thing where like, oh, you made it, you get a check every week now, you're good. But that's the life of an actor. So that's why I say, I'm not fully committed in that world, and I'm lucky to even be experiencing the things that I'm experiencing. Half-assing things. I'm not gonna say I'm half-assing things because I put, you've seen me perform, and I leave it all out there. Right. I don't hold like, oh, this is not the get up.
Right.
No, in front of 3 people, I'm gonna put it out there. I leave it out there.
What I love about you is, and what I connect from it, and I think. How I connected to comedy so much and is you're a man about the art. You, and that is something that I feel like should happen more. It should be more about that because I will watch sometimes comedy specials, and I would say, well, where's yeah, they're funny, but where is it connecting from? My taste in comedy now became different the more that I became open and performing. Like, I'm leaving everything on the line,
you're
too.
Funny, bro. You're funny too.
And I'm putting my stuff out there. I'm like,
funny dude.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I see what it did for my life, and just like I see what it did for other people.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm not gonna half-ass this shit. Right. Like, so if I see someone out there and they have success, but they're saying things that I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. There's no purpose in it. And I'm
why are you doing it?
Why? You know what I'm saying? Like, I wanna feel those jokes. Yeah, I can laugh at the dumb jokes. It's fine.
Absolutely.
But where's the connection to your human self to that?
I would love to do I would love to do a stand-up special. But I'm not gonna say have I done stand up? I've done stand up, but I also respect the art enough to not call myself a stand up comedian because that's a craft that takes a lot of work and a lot of sacrifice and going. And I can't do those hours. I can't be. I have kids. I can't do that. Now you tell me to write some shit. You want me to? I'll do all that other stuff. That's fine. But yeah, I respect the art, and a lot of times that gives me a lot of problems with wifey because it's like I'm not about the money.
Right.
And it's like, oh, you're paying me? Fine, cool. But the fact that you get to go as a performer, you get to go on stage and release all that shit, and people are watching. You get to make people happy. People leave out of there and that's why again after shows when people want to come up to me and I'll make myself available because it's like, you have no idea what you think I was. You have no idea what you're doing for me. In a selfish way, it's like you have no idea how good it, like I've gone on stage miserable, going through some real, and that's the way life usually works.
Right.
When times is tough, is the worst possible moment. So what do? You're going to sit there and complain, or you take that energy and turn it into something positive. And that's what I try to do. And I've gone on stage, after fighting with my girl or something, whatever, and the shit is fucking with me. It's really in my head. I can't really, get rid of. So I just use that. And then next thing you know, sometimes my cast members are like, what the hell? You were really yelling there. What happened? I was like, sorry, I had to let it out,
But that's what it's about.
That's it. And it makes the art better,
Because you're not just yelling to yell because the words is calling for a yell.
Right.
You're yelling because you actually feel that.
Absolutely.
And it brings a different thing to it.
So it brings you the character. And there's been times where, the funny is, playing the straight guy, I've gotten laughs literally crying on stage as a character that's scared or going through something in a comedic moment. But because I turn dramatic and start crying and shit, that makes the scene so much more funnier in a crazy way. So you're just And I did the same. It was one sketch, and it was I couldn't get it. Me and Jamie were and we're and ironically, it's him and I doing the scene, and it's the Bronx lifeguards, and but it becomes into a
just
train.
the line,
Bronx lifeguards. Yeah,
and if you have a title like that, and you go, that's something.
The premise alone, right? So it's and it becomes a whole training day kind of thing for one of them, and he's not ready for the, So I was playing the guy that wasn't ready. It's just there's drug dealers going on, there's bodies in the pool, they're trying to get out and all this other shit. And at one point, there's a shoot, and when I kept playing it was rehearsals, whatever. So whatever told me that day on stage, it was yo, just start crying, bro. Just freak out. And I did. And the whole crowd lost it. And I was like, yo, little did I know, going in that direction and making that decision, because I put it myself in that moment and I put it all out there. I would have never guessed to cry, but because I just left myself open to the theater guys.
So it's always the littlest things. And what I love about your story, you're not this, because it gives hope to a lot of people, and you don't have to go this one route. Is that you're not this classically trained person.
Nah.
I was always into theater when I was young. My dad took me to the Dominican Arts, and we saw these. No, it's I come from a tough part neighborhood. Listen to rap, blah blah blah.
I was a rapper.
I was a rapper. Had to do my things. I had this life. I changed it up, blah blah blah. But life was your teacher. People that you surrounded yourself was your teacher. And in a sense, you took some classes here and there, but you kind of mixed this all in a pot. and figured it out by trial and error.
Yeah,
that is success.
I can't, thank you. I appreciate you, and I'm speaking freely. Say take a class because I was a person that I also I was a flake.
Right.
So if I say take a class, it means like I probably went to one class, saw what they were doing, and be like, oh, I know what that bullshit is. I just didn't know the name for it, and then I left. You know what I mean? Like it was like, oh, I took little, but I also knew like that I could trust. I had to trust. You have to trust yourself. You have to trust yourself, and nobody ever believed in the negrito ever. So I always had to make them believe. You know what I'm saying? I had to be the. That's why I try to I rap. Okay, I'll be the best rapper. Oh, you basketball, I'm gonna be basketball. Whatever I would put my mind to, And then I was like, so why am I not? You're at regular jobs and everybody's like, bro, you're so funny, man.
Right.
But then you see real comedians and then you're like, wait.
Right. No, but that you are a true comedian. Right. You are a true artist. Yeah. Especially since you wear so many hats, man.
Thank you.
And when did it finally set in for you to be like, I don't need the cars, I don't need the mansions, I don't need the approval on this high scale? When did you realize that the success that what you did and what you have done so far is sufficient and you are successful? Because I remember watching Dave Chappelle, and I was on my way to go to college, and I had the comedy bug, and I was like, people's like, you're funny, you should do it. Yeah. But I'm like, I don't know what's the route, to go. So, but I was going to college, and I was watching Dave Chappelle. This is the time that he left Comedy Central, and he was on Inside the Actor Studio.
Okay.
And it's a beautiful interview. I recommend to everybody.
It's great, yeah.
And he said that when he was leaving, I guess, to go do his thing, his dad said, I want to talk to you. And he said, a lot of people want to make it, but they don't make it. And then his response, Dave Chappelle's response was, well, depending on what's your idea of making it. You're a teacher making $65,000 a year. If I can do comedy for $65,000 a year and I'm doing what I love, then I made it. Absolutely. That, at a young age,
living out of what you love,
changed my whole outcome of what I want.
Yeah.
And was being grateful that I was actually just performing, creating, and stuff like that. And knew that this was about the art, and not even knowing, because I remember when I first did comedy, I met Greer Barnes, and he was on.
Fucking amazing guy.
He was on Dave Chappelle's Well. Yeah. I just know by his face. I didn't know that was. But I remember I did it. I was doing like
he's one of the funniest.
One of his bringer shows, right?
Yeah.
But what he said to me stuck to me even to this day. But I didn't understand it fully until I was in it. He says, "Oh man, you're a comedian?" I was like, "Yeah." Welcome to the struggle, motherfucker.
That's right.
And absolutely. And I laughed, but I didn't laugh with the intent of knowing.
Right. I was like,
and then later on,
no, right.
5 years in, welcome to the struggle, motherfucker.
The struggle. That echoed.
Motherfucker. I was like, the struggle. Shit, yeah. So when was it for you that you finally put the final piece to the puzzle for your journey to be like, yo, I'm successful. What I done so far. I don't need anything else.
It ironically, in some of my, what I would say, like my pinnacle moments of acclaim and success, I've in my personal life, I've probably been at my lowest, or like the brokest.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm doing this really cool shit, but I'm like fucking broke. Like, I'm mad broke. Like I have no business being there. I'm hungry. People be like, yo, you be fluctuating in weight. What is it? We're like, because sometimes there's food, sometimes there isn't. But yeah, no. Again, and also when you live for yourself, when you're single, you don't have no kids. It's a whole other ball game. It's like, oh, I'm just gonna eat toothpaste today. Yeah, that's fine. That's what it is today.
What is your favorite brand to eat?
I'm gonna say, I would have to go with the Crest all the time, but
good choice.
Aim. Because of the 3 flavor things. I don't know.
Damn, that's like 3 cheeses.
There's the 3 cheeses. There's like 3 different. Some days someone's
it's a lasagna of toothpaste.
Absolutely. 3 layers. It's like a 3 cheese. Like, 3 cheese put lasagna. But yeah, you those moments, again, we were blessed to be picked up by Lauren Michaels when he was doing the endeavor at YouTube. with Mas Mejor. So we got invited. We were part of this whole launch. We were in the family, in the Broadway video family. We met all these people. Like we had. I mean, probably that was the roots and the seeds of them knowing who we were to even put us on Bring the Funny later on, because it's all the same family, NBC.
Yeah.
But to get the tour of SNL, a private tour of SNL, the studio, they don't let you take pictures there. They let us take pictures there. All of that stuff that you as a little kid, when you're like, oh my God, this is it. See, and you also have to understand, bro, I'm from a different, I'm older. Again, I come from a different era. So there's just things that I've learned to accept that are never going to happen for me. Like the fact that Barack Obama became a president, that's incredible. Because now a little kid could be like, oh, I could be. But growing up, you couldn't be president.
Yep.
You couldn't be Superman. You couldn't be the cool shit. There's certain things that you're just not expecting. And as an actor, as a comedian, I knew I was that's probably not going to happen for me. I'm not going to be in SNL. And to be on that stage and to be a part of that. And then, when they were doing the promotion, they were cutting clips of, old SNL clips with our sketch stuff, saying, we were, the next. That kind of stuff, I'm ready. I ain't got no money in my pocket that day. I had...
Yo, did you cry? I would have cried. Did you? It was a moment you cried. You still almost feel like
I was
this
just
is
overwhelmed.
Surreal.
It was just overwhelming. And then we're taking pictures on the red carpet. Then next thing you know, me and Jamie are doing a sketch with Horatio Sands, and he was playing El Chapo. We were his goons, and we're across from each other, you and me are right now. Yep. And there were moments where we're bro, do you realize what we're doing right now? This is our art, our expression that has brought us to this moment. So again, those things having worked 50 Cent asked me to be in the video years ago, do that kind of stuff. And then when people tell me, hey, my God, you changed my life, or you're funny, or you influenced me, or you're damn, I didn't think our people could do this, or I didn't, I hope, I'm I don't want to be on some yo, but I look around and I'm shit, nobody was doing what we, especially for Afro Latinos,
right.
I broke a lot of doors because the doors didn't open for me. I had to make my own doors. That's where Room 28 came from. That's where all these little, and then using then to be able to use all of that background that I had with music to put it into the comedy, just all of that stuff, to be able to have an audience that people actually interact with me, to be dude, I know you. You're a person that I respect, and you're telling me, hey, you're funny, blah, blah, blah. People that I've admired and I've met that, I looked up to, and they told me, oh, no, I know who you are. I've seen your stuff, and you're just holy shit. Lemon Anderson one time. Lemon Anderson?
Yeah.
I approached him at a party one time in Brooklyn. I approached him one time at a party in Brooklyn, and he was he just shows up, whatever. And this is before all the Spike Lee stuff, whatever. But he was still big. And he shows up, and I go up to him, and I introduce myself. But, his assistant was a friend of mine, so that's how I came. And I'm I'm trying to talk, and I'm I'm trying to make an impression. He goes, oh, no, I know you. I know who you are. I read your statuses on Facebook and shit. I was oh, okay. So it was a thing, I didn't know the mark that I'm making, but I do know, I am proud that I've, made my own way. I've made it my own way. Maybe people consider that arrogant or hard-headed.
No,
whatever,
you
actually.
I
don't. And again, it's like you said. If I like somebody, if I fuck with somebody, if I want to work with somebody, if I'm working with you, and it's not even a thing of me being conceited. It's just if I fuck with you, it's because I really admire you. If I really I know as a performer, I can sit here and talk to you about performing because of. I've seen the stuff that you did with your one man show, how open you've been, and how you exposed yourself, literally exposed yourself with a guitar in front of you. I need a much smaller guitar, but no, you know what I'm saying. But you're an artist that I know that on some level, even if we're not doing the same thing, there's a level where we both. I was what you can't buy that doesn't go somewhere, performing and getting that applause from the audience, that high that you get.
Yep.
You can understand why these performers become drug addicts because there's a high that you cannot replicate when you're on stage performing and you know when you got the audience in the
Right.
palm of your hand and they're laughing at any little thing that you do or reacting to
it's
any
hard
little
to
thing
describe. It's like
incredible.
Yeah, it's hard. It's definitely a feeling that's so hard to describe. Like even when you describe it, you just like it's one of those things like you just gotta be in it,
right?
Like,
but think about it. But think about this. We are that's like what, like a tenth, like nothing, an eighth of like, say a person like Michael Jackson or whatever, performing wise, he'll go somewhere like. I always tell people nobody's ever gonna be big as him because he went to like Japan and nobody like he didn't know nobody in Japan, right? And he gets off the plane. How big are you that you get off the plane and people see you there for the first time and they start to faint?
they didn't know him. Like
no, they knew him.
but
They
not-
were fans. He had never been to Japan, and he
That's
gets
what
off
I'm
a
saying,
plane. He gets off a plane and. The people are such fanatics that they're fainting. Like, so you're telling me that's gonna make you a normal person? Like you see those videos of like Queen concerts or whatever, like doing like and they got like those like 100,000s of people at those like World AIDS concerts and shit, and they're just like holding the crowd and you're just like, I can't even imagine the high that person's on. Like you're just controlling 250,000 people.
Yeah.
To like, and then not only that, they're singing words that you probably on the toilet one day like, you look like a flower, and now is the hour, and then you push the mahong, and then you always remember that between flower and hour you had a mahong, but now you got 1 million people that sing that line back to you that came from your head.
Isn't that
incredible.
a weird? Yeah, it's incredible. Isn't it like a weird moment too when someone will say a line of something that you did, or remember something that you did, and you're like, yo, I kind of wrote this in my drawers. Like, and when you dissect it,
that's what I'm saying.
I wrote this in my drawers.
Because I know that happens to me.
I didn't know if this was gonna work.
Right.
But I'm like, you like that?
Right.
Like, I know I liked it, but you remember?
That's what I'm saying. Like sometimes my jokes, the people that like the jokes, and I'm like, you have no idea what I was doing or what I went through when I was writing that joke. Like, and people were like, yo, that shit was so funny, and I'm like, but it really happened to me, but. Sometimes you embellish, but of course that's the funniest stuff. Is always the most genuine stuff.
How has fatherhood changed your life, and what did it actually enhance your creativity too? I know
absolutely.
So explain both, like the human side. What did it bring to your life, and also how did that also then bleed into your creativity?
Well, physically, it brought me back to. I was living in Jersey. I wasn't doing the creative stuff no more. I wasn't doing any of that stuff. No, I wasn't really into it no more. I was like. Popping up here and there, like doing little things here and there, but I wasn't in it anymore. And I came back to the city. My girl. Yeah. It's like, hey, we're having a baby. I was like, oh shit, okay.
Yeah.
That means I gotta move close. All right. So then, we.
Yeah.
And when I worked my way back, and then it was like I started like hanging out again with my friends that I used to do comedy with. And
isn't that funny that your child brought you back?
Absolutely.
Spiritually, she brought you back.
And which again. A lot of things had to happen, Again, I love Guru because, she's all about spirituality. And, I just wasn't ready for her because she was handing me my ass. She knows exactly what I'm talking about. She was handing me my ass. Every time I saw her, she would hand me my ass. Like, mira, toma tu nalga. And I'd be like, oh, shit. She's seen it. I know. But she also knew, like, she would also see me in my journey, and it was one of those things where I had to kind of like, it couldn't be guided by anybody else for me to find my journey to let go of baggage, to open myself up to the goodness that is the world, to the positivity, like opening yourself up to karma, being positive or whatever. And things led up to that where I was like, well, maybe I had reached a certain age and I was like, maybe I'm not going to have a kid. I opened myself up to the idea, well, maybe I'm not supposed to have a kid. Maybe this is because I'm supposed to do this and that. And I took everything on a positive, and then, okay, no, I met somebody. Oh, okay. And then it's like, oh, boom, then this happens. And then, but like, I didn't just meet somebody. I met somebody that I've known for like 17 years, so it's not starting. Yeah. So it was like everything was kind of meant to be, and like the path was opening up for positive things and greater things. And then the fact that a year later we're doing the stuff with Mas Mejor, and I was like, okay, so just remaining. And it's funny because on my podcast, the Men on Pause podcast, shout out to my boy P. We made a joke this week about being positive and about positivity and just how the energy that you kind of creating, you know, like if you're putting bad out, you're going to get bad back, you know? So trying to remain positive, and when you do that and you open yourself up, the world opens up and gifts come in. You know, you're opening yourself up to gifts because you're not carrying anger, you're not carrying baggage, you're not blaming other people. You're opening yourself up spiritually. I probably sound like a real hippie right now.
No, not at all.
But it's one of those things that, you know, you had to go through that self-reflecting. And a lot of it starts with like, you stop pointing fingers at everybody else.
Taking
you start looking at
responsibility.
yourself, and then you're like, hey, you know what? Maybe I am an asshole. Maybe I am irresponsible. Maybe I am like this. And then you take all of that shit, and I mean, it's called growth, you know. You gotta have growth, and it happens for others before others. But it was like I was on this journey of like doors opening up, and then God sends me this gift, who's my daughter, and she's like, I know people would say, oh, my daughter, but my daughter's like a genius, which I don't even share half of what she does with the world. But she's, you know, and then all of that, being positive, open up the doors, put me back with my friends, put me to do this, and now all of a sudden it took me to LA to be on TV and do all this stuff. It's led me to Bodega Makeover,
which I want to get into.
Yeah, and these are all things that are like, again, I audition for certain things that I'm like, hey, maybe I usually get it because it's a connection that I'll have or whatever it is. Something speaks to me, and I'm much more, you know, spiritually, it's opened me to the point of like, I don't worry. I mean, of course I worry. I try to make plans. I try to think about the future for my daughter, but I don't worry about like, I know everything's going to be okay because everything happens for a reason, and everything's like, so once you live your life that way, you're not worried about other people. You're not, you know, you're good. I'm good. I want to see everybody. I want to see everybody successful. I want to see everybody, and I'm all good with that. But I'm also at the point of like, you know, black Latinos, we haven't been seen, and the bullshit keeps happening, and when we talk, it's like, oh, we're angry about it. No, it's not. We're angry about it. It's like, yo, if we're gonna be woke, let's be woke all the way. Let's stop like lying, you know. So you can't even have conversations like that because then they think you're on some whole other thing.
Yeah.
But again, you're still on a positivity. Like, at least our stories are being told. So that's the bigger picture. We may not be fully represented, but our stories are being told, and that's a great thing.
Yep.
That at the end of the day, that's the bigger picture. So once you do that, you open yourself up to positivity, man, and that's what my daughter's done for me. And like, you know, I know for a fact like I can murder somebody now. I didn't know that before. Like, you know, because I had like sympathy, but like if somebody messes with, like I wouldn't even think about it. That's scary, first of all. But yeah, I never really thought about it. But that's the truth. That's how it just changes you. And then it's not about you anymore, man. You know, it's like you want to get up late? It doesn't matter. Your kid doesn't want to let you get up late. That's not what it's about, you know. But you have to, as a father, the most important thing is like, you know, it's not the money.
Yeah, and it brings so much out of you where you didn't know you had. You know, comedy was teaching you all these things, and it brought so much of the...
I'm such a better actor, though, because I'm so sensitive now. I cry over anything. I cry like Undercover Boss. That shit fucks me up.
Damn.
Like, yeah, like... I mean, he gave it 10,000 for what? And I saw it coming the whole time, but it's still... But no, it's made me... You know, every once in a while, like I'll see some shit with some kid, you know, with a parent or some shit. You become sensitive. Like I'm ready to cry. Just thinking about it right now, I'm ready to cry.
That's awesome.
But fatherhood is such a different thing because motherhood is like, you know, they're responsible for like this bringing the being into the earth and carrying it, and it's such a it's like, you know, such a thing where the father, you know, where we are supposed is when the child is outside of the body. Like the raising part, I think it's so important for young boys to have their father around and for young ladies to have their father around.
Yep.
It's not the whole game of like, oh no, you know, I think they both need the father figure, because the father figure is the only one that's like, you know, you guys kind of came from me, but I didn't have to do the 9 months. I don't really have to be. Because a lot of them aren't there, you know? So the ones that, and again, it's like Chris Rock said, you can't give us a medal for doing what we're supposed to be doing. you know. But at the end of the day, it does become a big deal because not all the guys are doing what they're supposed to be doing.
No, absolutely. And I feel like, when I feel like there's a lot of the mother side of that you hear, which absolutely give them all the trophies, give them all the gold medals, and they deserve that. Yeah. But there's also, I feel like, lack of untold stories of fathers that are actually being fathers, where if you are present and you are doing what you got to do, man, those stories should be told too, because and they deserve flowers too. Oh, absolutely. Because at any moment they can leave if they want.
Of course.
And
it's a different thing. It's a different,
absolutely.
It's a different, I mean, it's messed up to say it from that, but it's the truth. Right. It's like that's what it is. Like the fathers that are present are like there's a significance to that.
Yes.
There's a huge significance to that, and then like it's science studies will show it. Like women that have their fathers around are more successful. The same thing with boys and all that other stuff.
But isn't it so weird that we could look at mothers in the world, like we could look at mothers as like, oh, you're not supposed to leave. Like you guaranteed you gotta have a mom. But if you look at the dad, you got a choice. You
but the way that
I understand it, he left.
No, that's it.
And it's crazy how the mind is like that.
Absolutely.
And how society trained the mind now that if you have both of them, like, what? Mom and dad? No, they probably hate each other, though, right? It's like, well, not that much, but they still love you. It's like, what? But then if you're, like, single with a mom, it's like, oh, okay, cool. Your dad's not
around. Well, it's that whole debate that they're having now is, like, when it's, like, Father's Day. They're like, oh, to all the single moms that were fathers. Too. Oh. And it's, like, people are like, no. So then, like, yo, we can't do that. You'd be like, to all the single dads on Mother's Day. And like, no. Yeah. You know what I mean? But why not? So I mean, I think
like your father and what you shared and all that stuff. Of course, you have your ups and downs with that, but at the end of the day, you're a present father. I would feel give a man the roses, give him the flowers.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Like because I didn't go hungry. Like listen. At the end of the day, emotionally or whatever, or just like again, it made me fight harder because I'm still doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm still in the entertainment. My father still to this day is like, oh, you still doing that bullshit?
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that's fine. It's cool. Fine. It's cool. I'm not basing my life on his approval anyway. You got to let go of that shit.
Yeah.
So it's fine. He don't want it. That's great. But I know that what I've done makes me happy. And that's all that's it.
That's all that matters.
That's it. So from a parent, like your parent telling you you can't do it, that pushed me to actually be like, yeah, I could do it. I could do it. It's not a problem. Now you're telling me that I can't do it. And like he became the person that I wanted to battle against. But
have you, how long did it take for you to, I guess, find some type of peace between people like your dad or just a relationship with your father? Because I would assume that some things that you shared, you learned from him, but it also made you...
I appreciate it, though.
You appreciate it. Absolutely. But it made this fire now made you want to become more than what he was to you.
Absolutely. So when I became a dad, I also I almost had like that envy, like that I became obsessed with this kid, but she didn't come from me, so I have to work twice as hard to make her love me. This is what I'm saying. Like I have to prove my worth here.
Because for 9 months it was connected to the
moms, So like you talk to her now, her mom will hate me. She's like, yo, no, you would think that he had her. But no, it became like, no, whenever that kid got sick, I got up. Like, I became obsessed with that. Like, I became like, I want to be there every step of the way. And now, my daughter is, in a crazy, scary way, kind of following my footsteps in personality and what she wants to do. Like, again, I don't want to force it on her. But...
No, of course, it's natural. She's the one who brought you back for a reason. So she came down being funny.
So it's like maybe that was all a setup for her too, you know? So look, my father didn't nurture that in me, and we had our first Room 28 show when I was 30 years old. You understand what I'm saying? The first live show we ever had, I turned 30 that day. It's never if I had started earlier, I can only imagine where I'd be today. If I had the confidence of my parents being like nurture. I mean, my mother's the only one that was like really nurturing and feeding, and a couple of my uncles and stuff. But my dad was not. He don't know that stuff. I'm campesino. Like I don't blame him for that. Like
that's his world.
That doesn't make money. You gotta feed your kids. That's what you think about. So you can't get mad at that. So.
And it's so funny. Sorry to cut you off, but they don't realize that also, we spoke about it before, but something else connects that, I I have it harder because I have a job,
Right.
and then I'm adding another fucking
Pursue,
journey
yes,
on top of
me
this.
too.
So this.
And you're a dad.
Yeah, you're 9 to 5 dad. I get it, and your struggles here, but my shit is like from 9 to infinity. Like this
It never ends.
It never ends.
And also like back then they could come home and sit on the couch,
Yes.
tráemelo la chancleta, you know, that's how dad was home, you know, and it was fine because he provided.
Right.
And now that's not enough.
Mm-hmm.
Because we realized when we were growing up, it wasn't enough for us. Mm-hmm. So okay, we want to be present. We want to be. So like I told you, like it made me that moment. And so now I became very involved with my daughter's stuff. And now she told me she wants to do this. So I'm nurturing it. She's doing that. So hopefully she'll be rich by 22. Yeah. And I'll be like, you know, I'll be like, what's this guy, Serena Williams' dad?
Yeah. And then I could hit you up and it's like, hey, can your daughter produce my next one-man show? Like, that's perfect. So I'm rooting for it too.
I got to hook up with Victor's kid.
Yeah. Put them two together.
Because she's that little kid. That's another smart kid. Yeah.
Money there. Write that down.
Shout out to Vic.
What is the bodega makeover? I just feel like I could talk to you forever, but I want to make sure I get
plug some stuff. Yeah.
What is the bodega makeover? Because honestly, I don't even know what it is. I just saw. Oh, I love the idea, love the name. Yeah. But I'm like, what is this about?
First of all, I want to commend. This is a project that was created by Evelyn Brito. Mm-hmm. She's a Dominican filmmaker, and basically it came down to food deserts in the bad neighborhoods, you know, like and where bodegas are, you know, there's no options, there's no fruit, like, you know, you go to like the bodegas, also the delis, when you go to the other neighborhoods, it's a different option. Yep. So she decided that, like, why can't we, you know, make over bodegas and bring them into keeping, because they're a part of our culture, they're a part of the neighborhood, they're a part of, you know, a lot of neighborhoods, they've been there 20, 30 years, you know. Before they started going to the Hajis, it was like a lot of Dominicans, they owned that bodega spot and they passed it on to their sons, and it was like a family thing, you know. So that being said, keeping that aspect of it in the community, but bringing it forward into like having healthy options, having actually like hooking them up with farmers and having it straight from farm to table, you know, fresh vegetables, actual fruits, and not so much always the sugary drinks and the snacks and the stuff that kind of gives the kids diabetes and all this other stuff that they're dealing with. So at this moment in time, we just filmed the pilot. So we started in Boston, we started in Roxbury, and we filmed the pilot. It should be out soon. Nice. I saw a first cut of it. Very happy. So basically, I'm like, you know, like Bar Rescue. I'm like Jake Taffer.
That's dope.
I'm like, you call this a bodega?
That's dope.
Is that a chopped cheese? No.
Where's the cat? What kind of cat is this?
That cat is a disgrace. So I come in and I make it pretend like, I don't make it pretend. I'm coming in and like, you know, telling them, hey, we're gonna fix this. And we fix the stores up. But it's a whole community thing, man. It's not just like, hey, we're doing this for quick bucks.
Gotcha.
When we go to these bodegas, we involve the community. We talk to the city council. We talk to development companies. You know, they help us pick the bodega. They help us hook us up with like the design team. They hook us up with like the architects. They hook us up with the contractors, and then we kind of just do all of that stuff, and hopefully like refurbish and renew all these, like making them look like actual markets, you know.
It seems like what it is now is that, or what if for a couple years or years now, is that you've been, and you mentioned it, you've been picking projects that speak volumes, not only through there's a purpose, you know, not only there's going to be laughs, but there's something behind that. There's a meaning behind that. Yeah. Is that your intent in every project that comes your way, or it has that there's more where it has to be more than just a laugh? What is it? Yeah. How's it going to help me, other people, community?
Yeah. Well, I mean, because I live in Spanish Harlem now, right. And it's like I see bodegas all over the place that need help and all that other stuff, and I grew up with them. So to me, it's because it is true. There's times that there's nothing open, and I go to a bodega and then all they got is like, you know, the Debbie cakes and you know, potato chips. Tropical, and I'm like, fantasy soda, right? Like, oh, you don't have like a banana, nigga? Like, goddamn. So when she approached me about this, like, you know, it was starting out. I auditioned for her, and doing the stuff, like, there was no money, like, you know, but knowing what the whole project was about and what she was really trying to accomplish, I kind of was like, you know what, I want to get behind this, and then since then it's grown exponentially to the point where like we filmed the pilot, we're getting meetings, we're doing all that stuff. It's great and it's gonna look great. We actually filmed something, so that project is very exciting to me because it's actually something that I can look at my kids and be like, see, I'm trying to make a difference while at the same time like providing entertainment, like because it is at the end of the day I do want to make it a riff on like these makeover shows, but I want to have my own take on it. I don't want it to, and I also don't want it to be corny. I also don't want it to be, so that's one of those things where I'm like, that to me is more important. I don't want it to be where somebody be like, that's kind of fake.
Yeah.
It's kind of corny because, so again, be it like, the
genuine,
the bodega makeover. So like, I want to really help these families. I want to bring this show to New York, to where my real people are, where we really need the help, but we do. I mean, Boston is that place that we went to, we have another place in Chelsea in Massachusetts. So I'm traveling out there, I'm a Mets fan, so I'm safe.
I'm a Mets fan too.
Cool, I know. That's why that's why I'm here. If you was a Yankee fan, no. But no, they all hate like you a Yankee fan over there? Nah, I'm a Mets fan. Okay.
Man, it's been dope, man, because like we still got a couple more things, but I want to say it's been dope that, and I hope you constantly make it a norm that once a month or once every 2 months, you look back on your life and see how much you accomplished. Because if you would, knock on plastic or whatever, transition tomorrow or next year, whatever, you have left a legacy. So much that you have done. And it's something to acknowledge, embrace, and be aware of.
I appreciate that.
And because you shared so much today, and I'm like, wow, this guy, I felt like you said you started, man, if I would have started at 10 or whatever, and I'm 40, you're 40 something now, I'm like, bro, what you have done from the moment you started, it's amazing.
I appreciate that.
It's not even, let's say you probably started at 10, but it would have probably been trash, garbage.
Everything happens for a reason.
The moment you started, it was supposed to when you used to start, because that's when you was ready for it. So, let's say you started at 30, but you would have done it at 25. You still would have had to gone through that journey to reach where you needed to be at 30 years old. To open up to be like,
everything happens for a reason.
So
like I said, it was like that to me is to make me open to what my daughter, because it may not have been comedy. It could have been science. It could have been art. But just to make it myself, like, maybe it's not something that's for me or that I would want for her. Right. But you have to be open and like nurture that, because you never know where it's gonna go.
But she knows. She's your kids are very smart.
Yeah. She told me, Dad, I want to be on TV, but I don't want to lose like you.
She said that.
She did that.
She's
right.
hilarious.
I was like, no, you're right. She's like, I want to be on TV, but I don't want to.
Tomorrow, you're not gonna eat for 2 days. Right? Just letting you know, there's no food when you come here. Just letting you know. So,
but
look who's losing now. Yeah. You're losing food.
Yeah, no, it's again, and those are the things that are like, it doesn't matter. Like those little moments with my kid are what matters. Because 10 years from now, that's what she's gonna remember.
Yeah, but she sees, the way I look at you as a success, I can only imagine how in her eyes what she's looking at you.
And
she's looking at you as a success.
And I appreciate you saying, because to a lot of people, like, again, a lot of people don't know me. They're like, I know
because
a lot
you're not out there like walking. Hey, how you doing, Jerry Diaz? Bodega makeover.
But I do
room
like
28 at 30 years old. Like, you're not listing your credentials.
But it's what's funny, because it's like I've been around for like because I've been around, like I'm so old. Yeah. It's just I know people. Like people are like, oh yo, you know Miro? I'm like, yeah. We crossed paths somewhere along the line, and he like he'll know who I am, right? And that's not even on some like, oh yeah, because he knows who I am. Yeah. But I'm more surprised that people are like, you know him like that? Yeah. Like, and I'm like, yo, what do you think I've been doing? Record. Right,
if you will look at my
again, I may not be successful again, but to me, the stuff that I've accomplished, I have things to tell my grandkids. I've had viral songs. I've had like. But they've like even for the Trump stuff that they asked me to do for like the Trump, like these are things that, like, again, I don't know if it's because of how I've opened myself up to the universe. These are things that mean something, and I came out with a song like decrying this motherfucker before, like right when the elections happened, Voto Latino came to me and they wanted me to do that, like the remix of I Don't Fuck With You, the Big Sean song. And I made the song and it like went everywhere and everybody, yo, I saw you on TV. And I was like, oh, that's cool, but did you hear the message? He like, we got to prepare for this motherfucker. And nobody heard me, apparently. And then I went into hiding. I was like, yo, he's going to look for me.
My one of my coworkers, and it ties into like what we do in the whole thing of like, giving yourself credit and making that realization. He's a new guy who came into the office, and we get to know each other. And I don't off the back tell people what I do.
No, me neither.
Comedy, blah blah blah. You know, it is
because then they want you to tell jokes.
Yeah, exactly. And at the same time, it's like let it naturally happen.
Yes.
I'm not that guy.
Yes.
So
they expect certain things from you once they know you
right.
do that.
But if they ask me, what are you going to do today? Or they see the pictures. I have a mural of stuff on stage.
Stuff
When I'm always typing, I look up. I'm like, it reminds me.
Motivation.
Motivation. So
right.
he'll saw that. He's like, oh, yeah, what do you do? I was like, well, besides this, I'm an acting comedian. And it's, oh, wow, that's so dope. Then the question came, can I see something or whatever? Like, so I shared this first show with him. And then I was speaking to him when he saw it. He loved it. He said, yo, it spoke to me. I actually want to solve my relationship with my family, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yo, thank you so much. I appreciate it. So we're talking. He says, so what else you done? So I'm telling him what else I'd done. He was like, but genuinely said it. And it resonated with me. He was like, man, you're living the dream. And I was quick to be like, nah, because, right? I was like,
the success thing.
Like, well,
bro.
Well, I'm like, well, hold up. And he stumbled me. I was like, you're right. He's like, yeah, because
what you want, man.
You're creating shows, you got money or whatever for the 9-to-5 job to support yourself, blah, blah, but you're creating stuff, like this stuff is affecting people. You're living the dream. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I am living the dream. I am creating. And then I said, but the other dream is to hopefully one day do this.
Absolutely.
As a life.
Right.
If whatever I make on my job, and with the health benefits, if I could do this full time,
of course,
as comedy,
all day.
That's the ultimate dream.
But doesn't it fuck with you a little bit that, well, not fuck with you because it's a good thing. Like, isn't it crazy? Like, there's people that you know personally that are like really doing it. Like, you see them on Netflix or whatever that you personally know.
Right.
And you're like, holy. To me, I know a lot of people are be like, oh man, like, why can't that be me? You know what I've always looked at it? I'm like, yo, holy shit, like, that's a degree of like, I'm almost there.
But I'm gonna be honest with you.
I'm almost there. That's how I look at it. I had to reach that level. Okay. Because in the beginning, I know we all have it. You get tight.
Yeah.
You get tight.
I had jealousy.
Why them, not me?
Yes. Yeah. I was like, I'm not saying that I'm funnier than him, but like, damn, like I feel like I could bring more, and like
different energy.
It was like, and then after a couple times seeing that, because like you see people go on SNL. I have friends been on SNL. I see friends being writers for Key and Peele, and it's like it's happening all at once, and then I'm here in my drawers like, what the fuck am I doing with life? I'm like, why can't I do that? Why can't someone give me the opportunity when I'm out there? But then I had to change it, man. I was like, there's nothing wrong with feeling that, right? Because you use that as positive motivation. I'm not hating on them. But flip it, be proud. Because like how you said, you know them.
You're right there.
And like how you said, yo, that's that person. It happened for that person. I'm so happy for
I'm right there. I could be next. I'm right. I'm surrounding myself with these people that are doing these things. I think, again, you get lost in the sauce sometimes when you just like the whole thing of success. But, man, your friend is on. I guess I also eliminated myself from ever feeling that jealousy part because, again, like I told you, I didn't do the auditions, I didn't do the networking. So, and some of these people are like, I know they may not be as funny as me, but they put in that work, like like hustling.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, good for that person. You know what I mean? Like, because to me, I was like, because I didn't do that.
Right.
That would always eliminate that. With like, oh, why isn't it me? And I'm like, oh, I know it wasn't me. Why it isn't me? Because I don't do X, Y, and Z.
Exactly.
If I would do X, Y, and Z, maybe. But at this point, we don't know. So I eliminate myself.
And it makes me appreciate my journey more. I feel like I'm taking a different route. Yeah. As in like how the route you took. I'm going to do things that have purpose. Not discrediting anybody, but I'm like, I have a taste of what I'm going for, and I'm not going to degrade myself in any sense. And I want to do something that's me, and I want that to work for me, and allow that to take me where that person is, but I did it by being true to myself.
Quality over quantity. Always. Yep. And by quality, I'd rather... I'm gonna put it to this. I put this in a perspective the other day because I was able to find a comparison. Right, you know, there are times when people are like, "Oh, you know, you got to put yourself out there. You have to be consistent. You have to keep doing like if you got to do like 10 shows a year, whatever." Blah, blah, blah. And I come from the school of like, but I'd rather do one banger and make you talk about me for a year. And wait for that other banger the next year.
And then they say, yo, when's that? What are you working on? When's that next thing?
When's the next banger? Listen, and this is the best comparison that it came. It's like, what movie career you want to have? Do you want to be Leo DiCaprio? He don't make a movie, but every, 2-3 years?
It's true.
But every time he makes a movie,
you know, he's coming with heat.
Slapper. It's a slapper. And at this moment in time, even if it isn't, because I'm not crazy about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I didn't see it.
It's not. But
when he makes another one.
Right. But even then, people went to go see him at, like, they still, like, because of who he is, they still, like, find integrity in whatever he's doing. You know, where, I don't know, or a Nicolas Cage, at this moment in time, he's just taking movies to take movies. And is the quality of the movie great? No. Is he popular and like still in the main? But for the right reasons, is he getting paid? Yeah, but again, is it for the right reasons? Like now he's like the B movie king. Yeah. Now Leo, you know, with Leo, that's not the case.
Right.
You know, same thing with Spike Lee. Yeah. Spike Lee don't do shit like that. Like
Ava DuVernay. Yeah.
You understand?
Yep.
So when they do it, you know, they're doing it with a purpose, but they're giving it quality.
Yeah.
They're
and
staying
it took
genuine.
time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they're not following trends. Because at that, when you take your time with some shit, you're not doing what's the latest thing that's happening.
Yep.
You're just concentrating on what you got. And then it's like, that's how I come from. I'm like, yo, I'm going to do this. I'm building this. And sometimes I spend too much time building it and put it out too late. Maybe, yeah cool, it can happen. But, God damn it, bro. Yeah. If that hits at the right time, everything aligns and there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it.
So, Jerry, we got to know you, and it ain't over. I don't care because I'm still going to get to know you more. But I'm going to get into the segments now of the episodes. Sure. But, man, you share so much, and it's been dope and refreshing, and I'm glad that we actually had. No, it's dope. I listen and I talk a lot. I'm glad we had this moment to like really, for me, to listen to your story and hear it.
Thank you.
I'm like, wow, like it's. I had respect for you before, but now I have even more respect because, like I said, like whenever I met you, it was always genuine, but you wasn't throwing out credentials. You know what I'm saying? But now you shared certain things that you've done, and I'm like, oh shit. Yeah. But it's not about what you've done. It's like how you did it, the artistic and the creativity behind it, and the purpose behind it. I was like, wow, that's dope.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
So moving forward to our first segment is called Let's Look Inside.
Okay.
And the first question for Let's Look Inside is, what in life is beautiful to you?
What in life is beautiful to me? Oh, man. You know what? Like, love. Like, innocent. And then by innocent, it doesn't mean that it's not sexual. I'm just saying, like, pure, unconditional, unadulterated love. To see love in action, in people's eyes, how it makes people feel. I mean, it's pure joy. It's one of the most beautiful things. And again, without my daughter, I don't think I've ever, both of my daughters, because I have a stepdaughter, so shout out to Alayda too. That to me, the power of love and the things that it can do, because that falls into other things that may not be considered love, you know, but the love is present. Love is God. Love is everything. Love is... It's a little cheesy and corny or whatever, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. Like I can sit here and tell you like, hey, you know, when somebody does something good for somebody else or whatever, but all of that, I think it all comes down to love.
Yeah, and it's powerful and it's free, and we come equipped with so much of it that we don't even know how to unlock so much.
Yeah, man.
So the next question for the first segment. If we can pump the brakes on your life right now, what is something you will pay more attention to in your life?
if we could pump the brakes right now, probably. You know what? I'm getting probably my health.
Okay.
I could probably take a whole lot better care of myself. I do try to remain active, and luckily the comedy stuff keeps me like moving around, and my kids keep me moving around. But there were probably aspects of like I wish I've worked out and all that stuff, but I wish I could do it like more consistently. But when you got kids, it's like
you're tired.
You're tired. You're barely like you don't know what diet.
Yeah.
Like you're eating scraps.
Exactly. You're just eating to survive another day.
That's it.
Second segment is called Words from My Spiritual Teacher, Guru Enlightenment. You know her too as well.
What's up, Guru?
In this segment, I usually just read some of her writings and then we'll just talk about it.
Okay.
So, and this one comes from her book, and it goes, "Take time to think things through. Don't be in a hurry. Everything will come the way it should." Now, this is hilarious because I will say this. I say it all the time, and I don't care if the viewers are tired, but you don't know this. I don't plan these. I just open the book,
right? And
whatever I see there, I write it,
right?
And
it's perfect. It's freaking perfect.
And I want to know, what did you think about this? Because instantly, I already related to your journey.
Again, like fucking Guru, man, just to creep me out, and she ain't even fucking here. She handed me my ass without even being here. God damn it. No, and I got mad love for her because she, again, the love stuff, man, she comes from a place of love when she wants to help, like, and to see the family, again, outside looking in, we've been around in the same circles for a long time, to see the family that you guys have become by, real quick, I just wanted to give you our props. I think it's a beautiful family, all you guys. Spiritual tree, Wind, the Warrior, all you guys, y'all dope. And it's never been a thing from the outside looking in where I'm gonna speak personally for myself, where it's like, yeah, whatever. Yeah. It's always been like, holy shit, like that's beautiful. That's unity. That's like these are these people growing together, and so I'll give you props for that. But as far as the statement, man, yeah, that's what it is. You got to be patience is a virtue, man. Quality over quantity. I don't mind waiting for things. If things are good and they're worth waiting for, that be it anything. It's been girls, it's been jobs, it's been, you wait for it, you do it. That's part of the sacrifice. But people sometimes don't know how to wait. And a lot of times, I don't like this whole mentality of like action. Everything got to be action. I'm a hustler. You got to hustle. You got to keep moving because life don't work like that.
Yep.
There are moments that you do have to hustle. Yes, you have to work hard. But there's a lot more moments where you kind of have to stop and be like, appreciate this moment right now. Appreciate this shit. Because, like, you could work all day making all this money to be like, to think that you're making your kids happy, but your kids would rather you be there with them instead of going out there making that money to work. So it's like, you know what I mean? And you think you're doing the right, you think you're making the right decisions. You think you're like, I'm accomplishing something that I'm supposed to be accomplishing. And meanwhile, your kids are miserable. They're like, yo, we'd rather have you here, Dad. We'd rather have you we'd rather be poor. We'd rather be poor playing Monopoly than us be rich on a boat and you're not even with us on the boat because you're working. So all of that comes from people thinking that they always have to keep things moving. And you do. But as you get older, you realize, like, time is precious. Yep. So enjoy especially with kids, you know. Yep. So you just try to enjoy every moment because it goes so fast. So again, that's why I could never fully commit to the acting stuff because I love life. I love my family. Like, I need to make time for my family. I need to make time and now for my kid. Like, that's priority number one. I need to make sure that I'm there. There's a dance, there's some stupid shit, whatever. Yep. She's in there for 5 seconds, I'm there. I don't care. You know what I mean? So, incredible quote.
Right? I'm going to read it one more time for you. Take time to think things through. Don't be in a hurry. Everything will come the way it should.
Yeah, man. I feel like, bro, I am from everything happens for a reason. Everything, even the bad thing has happened for you with a purpose. With a purpose for a better outcome. Like, you may be with a chick that, you know, has a kid and you're like, oh, whatever, you get attached to the kid goes, you know, and then next you're like, yo, I'm not dating nobody with no kids. No, what you're not understanding is that relationship was preparing you for the next person that came along that might have a kid, and now you know how to deal with that dynamic, and there's no awkward. You don't know why things happen in life, and you got to like just think, just stop and think. And I think people are so fast with the social media, with the Twitters. Everything is fast, especially Twitter. Like everything's like, and people get in trouble because they're saying some real stupid shit. But if you would just stop and like, you know how many tweets I have like chilling in my drafts, and then I'm like, let me just stop. And then I see somebody else get in trouble for it. I'm like, oof, see,
close one.
I stopped to think about it for a second because it's tough out here making jokes. You know,
it's super sensitive,
right?
And I'm just like,
you better word that shit right. You know,
everyone was quick to come after you, and I get it in a sense, but I don't know, bro. Like how I come from the time where if you said some foul shit, I'm gonna confront you about it. Or if I'm getting bullied, I'm gonna confront you about it. Take the joke, learn how to joke back, but I'm not gonna go kill myself about it or go crazy about it. Like it's just weird. Like a comment, like I'm gonna let that set me off and like.
No, and I love it. Listen, you stay away from like the YouTube comments and all that stuff. A lot of times it's like, but I'm a different type of person. Like, so I love reading that shit. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, it's funny.
Why's that little black guy's always so annoying? You know? And he's like always like those.
Yeah, it's
comments.
like I find the humor in it.
I don't get pissed.
I'm not gonna allow someone that I don't know justify or be in control of my feelings about something.
I know I've made many more people laugh than I haven't. You know,
right? And
if you don't like me, that's the other thing. You got to learn, like, not everybody's going to like you.
And that's fine.
That's okay. Keep it moving. Yeah, that's fine. But I know what I could do and I know what I could bring. I'm not going to compare that to nobody else. I'm not going to do what anybody else is doing. So
you are now checking out
the Win Podcast,
where the everyday people
are the celebrities.
So let's get to know them.